Well, howdy there, my YouTube friends. Welcome to the Locksmith Tips channel. Well, Bob here, Locksmith Tips. I've got the GoPro and the body cam on today. We're gonna go on ahead and set this up. So my body cam, the problem is it moves around, you know, with your shirt, and it kind of flops around. I even tuck my shirt in, which I don't normally tuck my shirt in, but it doesn't allow, you know, you to hold it very steady. So I'm just going to set it over here for a second here, so you can kind of see where we're getting ready to work. And I'll set this camera up here too, so we kind of get a gander. So we're doing the Combi-cam, and this default code is 0000. I'm going to get rid of this. What happened was I lost all the keys to my cabinet locks here, and I thought, you know, I'm not going to mess with finding keys for this anymore. And I'll show you here. I even redid this here too, so try not to move this around too much. So what I got here is just set up something just for what I'm doing. I'm trying to do this with one hand. That'll work for what I'm doing. And so what I'll do is let me see if I can readjust this camera here. I wish I could do both cameras at the same angle, but it's kind of hard. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm not making the speakers all muffled and everything. But so I could, you know, go on ahead and put a hole in there and just put a cheap, you know, combo lock or something. Or I don't want to deal with keys in my own van, because there's times when I'm on a job and my son Pat's working with me, and one of us may have the keys and the other needs to come back out here. Be nice just to have a combination. So I'm gonna do, I could put a hole in there and just do a combination lock. You know, it's just tools. There's nothing fancy in these cabinets, you know. It's just your usual pin kits, of course your Purell wipes, you know, you never know when you need those. Different things, A2 kits, pin kits, 3000s pin kits, but anyways, and I just thought I'd go on ahead and do this way. It's easy. There's one hand, but anyways, everything's going good, you know, on the step in. You know, let me set this camera up and be out of view for a second here. So I have some of these code locks. Let me set the camera down so I'm not bouncing you around. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can edit some of this junk out. So there we go. How's that? So I have some of these code locks, and you can use these. These are electronic. This is old. It's probably been in that box for 20 years. I don't even know if the batteries are any good. It's been in there that long. But anyways, these are great locks. You know, they're just I don't even know where they, oh, I don't think it had a cover. Just when you put them on, I could put that on there, and you can orient this any way you want. But I'm not gonna do that with this. I don't know if I even like the battery style. They do, I believe, have mechanical push button locks similar to that. But I'm just going to go on ahead and use a Combi-cam version. And, you know, Compex has one version. This is a different brand. I'll put a link in my description. This is this one here, and it's Chinese, you know, blah blah blah, whatever. You know, this is a solid. There's nothing, you know, it's every bit as good as any other cam lock. Now I prefer to get the Compex version, but this was they had it like free same day, you know, and I had some other stuff coming, and you know, if you order now you get this free same day. So I went ahead and just bought them. I think $12 for 2 of these, and they come with you know, a little action kit, you know, cams and stuff. And granted, you know, it's not going to sit the same, you know, if you can see that it doesn't stick out as far, but they got different things you can bend, you can make them. And I have a kit, let me see here, which has all kinds of modifications and stuff in there. So this is a cam lock kit assortment, and it has a million things in there. I don't know which camera we're looking at, but all kinds of different brackets and stuff. And if you have you know, the size here is the smaller size, you know, they have these pieces here where you can tap it in. You know, I've got a video on this, maybe I'll put that link in there too. So you can, if this is you know, too big, you can make it small. If it's too small, you can make it big. But anyway, so that's those. You make it bigger, as in, you know, you can you know, put on a different cam and then make it work. It gives you the options, you know, or you can drill drill it bigger, and then use a square file to square it out. Anyways, so I was able to find keys to everything, but this lock was easy. It's a simple complex lock. I even had the code, stamped on here or scribbled on there. Only a locksmith would be able to do it, and you could impression them. I don't tend to impression unless I absolutely have to, and just because it can bend the wafers if you're, a little too aggressive with that. You're wiggling around, and you gotta put a little side pressure, and then you gotta wiggle it up and down. And pen tumblers, it doesn't do any damage, but wafer locks, it can cause you to bend a wafer. But these were so close. I mean, you can see the bitting on that. It's next to nothing, and it works perfect. I mean, this is just I just cut a code. That's all I did. This piece here, it used to have the regular tail piece on here, and I put the slam cam in there. And I got a whole bag of these, but I may see if I can reuse this one. And I'll probably have to relocate the tab that it sticks to. I also went through my bucket of keys, and I found some keys that would fit this lower cabinet, and then they would almost fit that other cabinet over there where all my tool kits are. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. And so let me grab a screwdriver here. I just want to get rid of the keys I need for use in my step van. And I'm thinking about like putting a mag lock or a push button style on the door itself. So so that's part of this slam cam. That's all the kit that's in the slam cam. And there's different, this is an older kit, so it may be different with the newer ones, but they got it's just a spacer. I'm trying to remember how that all went together. Let me find my wrench here. And we'll go on ahead and spin this off. What's laying here? That looks like a tube. And they go on the apex. I know it's upside down, but it's the easiest way to do this. What I'm doing here, so I just need to get started. Now it's the right way. Depends on what way you go. You can't put a socket, or I'd be able to put a wrench in there, but can't do a socket because it hits that. It's just a quick video. I'm going to do this regardless, so it's like you might as well make a video out of it. And so I look like a monkey playing with an anthill in a sandbox. I'm trying to do this. Let me get this out of here. Arthritis. I got bones that in my hands are like dislocating. If I squeeze too hard on pliers and stuff, sometimes positions are more comfortable than others. So it's like you gotta make it work, and it looks unorthodox. And by the way, I hate doing that, but I thought maybe that body cam would stay on there better. This is what goes underneath your shirt, and your body cam sticks to that, but it's not gonna work for this. So I'll put that there right now. So, and the body cam has a magnet on it. So you can stick the metal, and it's stuck on metal right there. I'm using my GoPro also. I'll go through and see which one I want to do. So this is Locksmith Tips channel, formerly Odin's Lock. I like the Locksmith Tips sound. It sounds better. Odin's Lock is my business name. I don't know if it's, it's just a channel, YouTube channel. And I try to throw in some locksmith tips, tricks, stuff like that. A friend of mine, Mike, was doing lock tips and tricks. He told me my name is kind of hard to find when you look up lock stuff. It never comes up with Odin's Lock. If you're, most people search just for locksmith videos. A lot of lock picking, lock sport stuff, and I plan on getting more into that stuff down the road. I don't really. I still battle over whether, as a locksmith, I should be teaching people how to pick locks. I don't know, and I'm not, more of a liability side of it. I don't, in Missouri, there is no locksmith license. You can pick a lock if you want. You need to make sure you own the property, otherwise you become a legal issue, but I don't personally feel like it's my business. I don't want to teach people how to pick locks. Now, if you have questions, I'll tell tell you stuff, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not the greatest lock picker myself. And this goes 360 degrees until you put a cam in there. So you can know until you put the combo on there. I'm going to put that straight up and down so it's easier to read, and that will be the lock position. And then I'll do 90 degrees for the other side. Now, I don't know if this is going to, I may have to clean this up a little bit. I think part of the problem I have is this expanded metal. It's raised on the outside. I don't know if you can see that on the outside. So maybe when I crank that down, it'll tighten up. So I can go on ahead and use a cam, a regular cam, and I'm thinking I could do that and then just adjust these accordingly and make sure it clears everything, or I can use a slam cam, and I think I'm going to use the slam cam because I want to be able to relock it at any time, and I'm not sure if this will even work with this, so we'll take a look here. So this has recess. It may or may not work. So there's different types. I know Mike, he was talking to me about the slam cams. So let me see what it looks like here when I do this. So there is, I may need to get another one out of my cabinet in there because it would come with all the accessories. This here is a little bit different, and it's because I got this lip right here. I don't know if you can see that. It should work. Let me see here. And I will be honest, this was a import, so it's like who knows, and I wonder if you could have just pulled that out and put that in the old lock. That's pretty interesting. I hadn't thought about that. So it won't be long enough, unfortunately. So, and the old one did not have that lip on there, so maybe I just trim that down. And let me make sure this even fits in this piece here. So it may not even fit in there. May have to sand that out just a little bit. It's not even, that I have to do it. It's so close, and it's almost like I could probably do it. Let me see if I can push this on here. Yeah, I think that'll work. Sorry, I'm mopping stuff here. So if you push it on there, you can force it on there and use that screw and just kind of set that in there. That'd probably be fine. So let me see if that'll work this way. And there is a way to rekey this. Let me see. So we're good here. I'm going to do that vertical like this. Let me see if I can push it. So I don't think I'll be able to do that unless I get rid of this lip right there. And I don't know if, let me see. It might work. There's a flat on here, so I think I don't know if I do that flat if it's going to let me turn it though. So probably not. And I can go ahead and get rid of this piece here, but once you do that, then you're kind of out of the realm of making sure you're good on this. So I think I will pass on the slam cam. Maybe I'll play with that. I don't really need it right now. I don't even know if this screw would work with this anyway, so that is part of the other problem with the slam cam. Just trying to make sure the hardware works. It'd probably work if I did that way. Let me see, because that screw won't even work in that. So probably not. So there's a slam cam. Screw, different thread, so it's probably not even going to work. I could use a longer screw, open that up. There's no reason why you can't open that up. Inside there, just run a drill down there. So we will pass on the slam cam. So done and done. I'm done with that. Alright. So with this Combi-cam, there are directions. It tells you all the little things here you gotta do. And that's if you like that language. I don't. And I'm gonna do. So here's your basics. That's how it goes through. If I can hold still for a second. Right there, you can explode the view. How to set the password. How to install the lock. Here's the dimensions for this particular one. Which camera we're looking at. So that's that. And I may need to remember because I did take some washers off. Okay. So we will go on ahead and do this. So I'm going to drop that in there. We're going to put that nut on there. Probably easier just to slide it in right there. The tighter you get, the better you're going to be on the outside as far as drawing it in. Would have been kind of neat if I had a little gasket type plate you can put on there. let that know, and that's okay. I probably have a better set of channel locks for something like this. Let me see what I got for channel locks. Set over here. Drop this over here. There we go. That'll work. These are baby little babies. 4 nip packs. I like nip packs. It's not bad. And this has the push button style, so you can really get in there. So, the tighter you get it, the better you'll be, and it'll draw it in. Now I may need to trim the tail piece. Let me see, that's drawing it in pretty good. One thing happens though, you'll twist. So you gotta kind of, I know I'm going upside down, but it's the best angle for what I'm doing here. Need a wrench is what I really need, but I don't know if I have a wrench. And then we'll go in there. Let me pop this out. Get it out of the way. Now I'm just going to tighten it down, then I'll straighten it out here in a minute. I'm just trying to draw it in. And then we'll straighten it out. Yeah, I'm probably frustrating, isn't it? Watching me do this. I'm frustrated doing it. So. You want it straight vertical. That'll work for that. Yeah, good enough for the girls I go with, I guess, as they say. And I want that to stick out a little bit more. So what you're going to also do is you got this piece right here, and that will go in there. That's your stop. So depends on what direction you want to go, how you do it. So I think I'm going to have to go the other way. I want it to swing out the other direction. Like this. So vertical, and then to the 3 o'clock position. Or, well, whatever position you think we're at here. So, let me see. This cam will work. Should do this just like that. That ought to work. We'll check it out here in a second. So, make sure I need to have a washer here. And that shows this going below the washer. So, find my screw. Yeah, put it over here, I think. There it is. Would have thought they'd have that. Okay. The washer goes over the screw. Sometimes they use a star washer, so gotta pay attention. A little bag of goodies. Okay, so let me put that on. So I probably got it backwards. That's the way I want it right there. So let me flip this around. I'll let it move on me. This piece here. Okay. So the dial's vertical, or the dials are horizontal. I want that to be like this. And we're going to go on ahead and have this out like this. And you got to make sure it doesn't move around on you. This ain't nothing crazy top secret or anything. I'll set the dial to something here in a little while. So, let me see here. I like the screwdriver. Okay. So it's going to be too long. And let me put that in, just turn a little bit. Alright, perfect. So what's going to happen is it's too long. So I have some shorter ones. Let me see what we got in my kit over here. Let me open her out. Yeah, I can trim that. You just need to trim it right there. Let me see what we got for shorter. Man, I didn't have ID in this kit, so let's see what we got. So have even needed this other piece. So let's trim that. Trim this. That's not the same. It just sticks out further. So let me see. That's probably more what I want right there. I just need to make sure it's sticking out. That's the only problem. You just need to make sure you're able to clear your other hurdle here. Yeah. So let me move these fractions. It's usually how it goes. There's always something you got to deal with on something like these. What I could do is just go on ahead and trim it so I know we're there. So let me do this. I just need to trim it down. I would use a Sharpie, but okay. Let me pull that off. I'm going to trim it, round it off, and whatever I did with my screwdriver. That's usually how it goes. I move tools around, and then you're like, where did that go? And I think I just threw it in here. It's probably sitting right there. You know what? If I don't find it, I'll just grab a different one. I think I set it in here, and it just disappeared on me. Where'd you go? Yeah. That's my one. Alright, so let me get this. Well, we'll just get this cover. So we're going to trim that off. And then once I trim it, I'm going to have to spin that other piece back around. It's inside for the tail piece to catch. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to put this in the vise. I'm going to use a portaband. In fact, I will go on ahead and take you along for the ride. Alright, so there's a squirrel out there. I'm not a particular fan of the portaband. I use it quite a bit, but more of a sawzall guy, and it's funny, everyone's kind of got their own favorite cutting tools. But I will admit this is a lot less violent than the portaband. I mean, than the sawzall. So I'm going to use it and see if I can get this. I'm going to have to hold it. And probably need to lock this down. Okay. That's scary. And it's going to want to pull up to it, but I'm going to hold it so it doesn't. So try to. Alright. That's all we need. Use your trusty file. Put some corners on it. Get this out of here. Okay. While I'm at it, we will go on ahead and put a little radius on it. Just to kind of break down the leading edge. And these, on a radius, you don't want any corners because of the rab. Too hot either. Not warm. Ooh. Okay, so we're good. We got a leading edge here. Let me see if it's going to hold up. Let me grab my other camera here and we'll get set up. Try not to let it bounce around too much. Okay. Alright, so here's where we're at. And so that's should be able to work right there. I dropped my cam. I don't know where my other screwdriver went. It's not in my pocket. That's life. They Thank goodness your memory's the second thing that goes, and I don't remember what the first is. So this is just one of those day off projects I wanted to take care of. Wasn't anything I had to do. I have the keys to this now, so it's not like I gotta worry about being locked out. None of these are that secure anyways. Alright. Okay. So. Okay, I actually hit the combo. The combo here, that's the only other side to this, is you making sure you got good light out here. Okay. Alright, so I'll show you what we're looking at here. So this piece here is going to have to get moved. And I will show you this. And if I can get this on here better. Yeah, maybe look here. Crazy. So that's gonna have to get moved. And I wish I knew where my electric screwdriver went. Isn't that crazy? Now you see it and now you don't. That sucker disappeared quick. Okay. Let me look over here. Maybe. There, found it. Anyways. So we're going to do something else with this body cam. Just give me 1 second here. I have a magnet that I was going to use there. So, I don't know. Is it easier to do this? No, it's going to be hard. Alrighty then. I will cut this out from the other one. So, yeah, you can see right here. So, what we're doing is taking this piece here off. We're going to flip it around. Let's even see if that's going to work. Gosh, I think that's going to work. So, might be a successful mission here. Get that in here. I don't remember if I pre-drilled those holes to begin with or not. Alright, so let's see. Looks. It works. That's it. Just like money. Just like money. And it's secure. It's probably because it needs to be. So let me grab my light here so you can see what's going on in here. Hopefully you can see it alright without me dropping the light. So perfect. And then you change combo. And there's all directions on how to do that. So, how to reset the password. Let me see here. How to set the password. So you first line the number of the first or the code lock wheel to 000. Original password 000. Need to align the scale lines. Because they can't be offset. So we're talking about the scale lines here. So let's go back over here. So, kind of see what we're doing here. Give me 1 second when it's set up. And then, let's see. I don't think it matters what position you do it in. Then let's see. Gosh, need a magnifying glass for this thing. How to set the password. So you line all the numbers, which they are, and I will pull the camera out and we'll look at this. So use an unlocking accessory or a small stick to insert into the hole. Keep the pressed state while turning. The password wheels. Okay, so you just press it in. Let me get the locking tool. Sorry for overcomplicating it. It's not necessary to overcomplicate it. So you can go on ahead and you use this press tool right here. Let's get it here. So you press that in, and let me see here. Maybe a certain position you gotta do it in. So the press tool, you press that in. That is so bizarre. So I think that all my numbers are matched up, or they're supposed to be. So you press in. Maybe let me grab my other one. We'll take a look. This isn't really this complicated. I'm just a complicated person here. 0, 0, 0. Okay, yep. So there's a spot. So I think I need to pull this out where I can open it. Alright. So apparently there is a different spot on here I need to go to. And I didn't know that. So that's good to know. There is a hole inside there that allows you to get to the other spot on there. So it would be opposite of the wheel, I would think. Let me see here. Let's see. Complex. I'm just trying to verify if there's some other weird thing I'm doing. No, not there. I bet it must be on the other side. Alright, so lesson learned. You need to make sure we install this. So lesson learned, yep, you need to make sure when you install these that it's set up in the right orientation. I didn't know that. I should have probably, I don't know why you would even know this or look. So what I will do is, we don't need to take the whole thing off. We just need to rotate that just enough to get me on the other side of the wheel. It's kind of not a bad idea, actually. That means someone can't just arbitrarily go on ahead and change a combo. So it would be over here. Yep. Drop the parts. Alrighty. So, for example, I am 0, 0, 0, 0, and let me see. Let's see. There's the numbers. So 0, 0, 0. So if you want to do 9, 9, 9, and then you do that. All right. So if I do 0, 0, 0, it no longer works. All right. So there is a slot inside this, and you need to know where you're looking. So now it won't work unless I do 999. So 999. It's pretty accurate. You know, even the combo. And there's your slot right in here. It looks a little bit different than the rest of it. Let's see if I can show you. So there's a hole right there, and there's not anywhere else on there. So, pretty fascinating. Pretty fascinating. Yeah, so as you can see, wherever that hole is the only way you can hit that button inside there. There's a little button. So, alright, so there we know. So let's put this sucker back together. I don't like this stand. Okay. And like Flynn. Alright, so kind of the beauty of that is you can't undo this unless you can take this back piece off. So no one else is going to come along and reset it on me. So with that said, I probably ought to set it. You know what? I'll leave it on 999. I don't care for now. So, anyways. And I could set it to work this way, but I'm not going to. I'm just going ahead and see, that's locked, unlocked. We'll leave it this way. In fact, I'm just going to put back on 0, 0, 0. Because why not? No one else is going to. You'll scramble once you're on here. So, 0, 0, 0. Alright. Yeah, don't work. So 0, 0, 0. For now. I'm going to probably do it to my kid's phone number or something. One of my kids. Alrighty, we're done. We're good to go. Let's put this back the way it was. Okay. And we trimmed that. It works good. Let me still feel a little burr on there. Grab a file and clean it just a hair. Okay. And that piece does not like me. This is just a Saturday video. There's nothing fancy schmancy. Just thought I'd do a video. I was going to change his lock anyway, so I thought, well, I might as well have a little fun, do a video. I'll see if I can trim out some of the dumb stuff. So if this is a really short video, then I must have trimmed out a lot of stuff. But for now, I just wanted to have something to put up on a channel. Nothing fancy. We'll go, I'll do one more relook at everything. So that's locked, unlocked. I like it, it's working. It's exactly what I need. I thought about doing this other one down below, and maybe I will. Maybe I should. We'll take a look at that. I think it's a little more complicated. Let me find a key for that. See, that's part of the problem. It's like I'm constantly looking for keys in my own vehicle. But you can't leave stuff unlocked. So, let me see here. The problem with this one here is it's a little bit more complex. It just, you gotta undo this, and I don't know if that's a square in there. Plus, this here pushes up a lever right here. That's pretty tight. I don't know if I want to mess with that. It's a little bit of a preload on a cam lock. I don't know if that'll work. You can see where it's kind of wearing down into this. So, anyways, I'll look at it, and maybe I'll do a different lock altogether. But the problem is you can leave it unlocked, but you can't close the door. It doesn't stay locked or latched. You got to actually lock it because that spring load lever in there is kind of constantly force your door to pop open, then your drawers will slide out. So I do want a way to have the doorknob, the lever close or open, and then when you close it, I don't necessarily need it locked. But I guess it's like a warning. Hey, if that's not locked, then the door's going to be open. So maybe I'll not worry about it. Anyways, that's really it for today's video. I just these are combination cam locks. The brand is, I can't even pronounce it, but I don't even remember the brand. I will put a link to it. You know, for 12 bucks, and so you got two of these. It's pretty solid. I mean, there's not a whole lot to them. You know, it's got a little rubber O-ring on it, and it you know, you got to know where that hole is to make sure that you can change the combo. And let me see here. I think I got something moved on it. Yeah, so you got to know where that hole is to be able to change the combo on it. But if you set it up the way I just did, you can't change the combo unless you take it apart, or at least undo the back, and then so that means you gotta have tools so someone can't come along and mess with it purposefully, you know, while you're not around, you know, unless they got tools they want to spend time taking it apart, they may not even know how to do it. They'll do like I did at first and try to reset the code. But I mean, it works. That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. That was what the whole plan was. Make sure I had a way to lock this, not have to need a key every time I go to it. So that's that. Thanks for watching. I'll go ahead and end with that. I like this light, and it's actually, I've been using quite a bit. I'm only down one bar. I mean, I've been using it a lot. I was gonna say, let me put this body cam back on here. So I'm gonna walk around for a second here. Thinking about doing a here, you can see how this works. Sorry, I'm bouncing this GoPro around. So there's that, and there's that, and it's locked, and you can't get in. So for this combo right now, it's, I think I did 000. I'm already forgetting. Yep. So there, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. It's perfect for 12 bucks. You know, I bought 2 of those, $6 each, and you just throw it on. And I didn't have to modify anything but the cam piece, which, you know, is one of these, so I didn't even have to hardly mess with it, which is the way you like it. I'll put this back over here. I got mess to clean up. Everything's going pretty good in the step in. I am planning on, I'm sorry with this camera here, I'm blocking it. So that's that. Anyways, back to the step van part. So I'm thinking about doing a French door here, or just totally getting rid of that door, going to a different one. My light's actually getting ready to pop off. It's 12.5, 12.2. So I want to do like a French door, or just cut across right there, be able to look back without having the door open. I've had that chair come flying through and come slamming into the wall, and it's like I need to do a different battery box or something down in there so that body cam can see it. Everything's going pretty good. I've got my inventories kind of built up a little bit. I need to separate knobs and deadbolts. Right now everything's kind of intermixed, but it's all good, you know. Anyways, everything's going good on everything. I put the lips here to keep stuff from sliding off. I put a lip up here so I can store stuff up there. And then let me see, what else have I done? I haven't really done much else lately. I did clean up the exhaust, try to fix the exhaust leak, and I think I got that going on the engine compartment inside there where the exhaust is. So I'm hoping that's all good now. And other than that, that's it. I've been keeping my power tools kind of half-ass organized. I don't remember if we did the 3D printing. I've been 3D printing stuff. Put the batteries there. That's perfect. And I'll leave that wheel on that grinder right there because that's usually the wheel I use. This portaband I've been putting right down in here in that little cubby hole. So got some raw materials in here to just in case. This pole I can just drill a hole and just put a padlock through there if I want, you know, to kind of keep it secure. I'm not too worried about it now. It's not going anywhere, so it's good enough for the stuff I'm doing. And I don't need this kit right now. Didn't need any of those parts. I think I used the original. And that'd be it. That code locks, that's about 20 years old, and I had 80 bucks on the price. They're probably still about that price. It's brand new, never been used, still in the box, so I'll probably discount it though if I was going to sell it, because it's 20 years old, and who knows if it's, you know, the electronics have been updated since then. Compex is a great brand. This is Code Locks. It's a good brand too. They make some lower end and they make some higher end stuff, but you know, if you like panic bars and you want key override and push button, these are good. And I believe they have all mechanical and you can do electric with Code Locks. I think they got the two different types. But okay, I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate y'all checking in, watching. Bear with me for all the stupid stuff I do, and I appreciate it. So talk to y'all later. Bye bye.